Hello Divination and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a dynamic portfolio project template with Divi and ACF. This is the final result we're aiming to achieve, so without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to install a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields. So to do that, you want to come over here to plugins and then click on add new. So this is a free plugin, so you want to come over here and search for it. So I'm just going to type in here Advanced Custom Field, and this is the plugin that we need to install. So as you can see here, mine says active. That's because I've gone ahead and installed the plugin. So in your case, you want to go in and install it and activate it. So once activated, you're going to see this area here called Custom Fields. So what you want to do is to click on Add New. So here on the top is where you want to give it your title, and our field type is going to be called Portfolio. And then over here, you want to make sure under location rules here, post type is equal to project. So you want to click down on this drop down and choose project like that. And then you want to hit publish. The next part is to add all your fields. So to add your fields, you want to click here on this plus button, which says add field. And then you just want to enter it like that. And then making sure that the field name is also set to field name problem. And then on the field type, you just want to make sure here it's set to text area. And then once you've done with that, you want to hit update. So what we're going to do in the next couple of steps is to go in and add all our fields. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do a few here, and then you can go ahead and add the rest. So I'm going to click again on add field, and this one here is going to be called solution, and the field type is going to be text area, just like what we did before. Click update. So go ahead and add the rest. All right, so the next field item I'm going to add here is going to be slightly different. This one here is called contact person image. So this one here is going to require an image. So on the field type here, I'm going to click on this drop down and choose image. And here it is. Let's select that. So that's the only difference that we are going to add onto this one here. And also we're going to add the client logo, and that's also going to be an image. So now we're entering our final field. So I'm going to click here on add field, and this one here is going to be client website. But on the field type, we want to set this to URL, and then we're going to hit update. And then finally, we have project duration, and we're going to come over here again, click on this plus button and enter it like that. And this one here is a bit different now because the field type is going to be range. So we're going to select range, and then over here on append, we're just going to say weeks. There we go. All right, so pretty much that's all we need to do here. I'm going to hit update. So all our fields are now entered. So the next step now is to create a new project. So I'm going to come over here to projects and then click on add new. So you can give your project a name. So in my case, I'm just going to call this WordPress website built with Divi. Next, I'm going to add my description for this project. So notice that I'm not using the Divi builder. I'm just using the normal Gutenberg editor. So this is where I would paste my description of this project. Now, those fields that we added on earlier on are all here. So you can see this is where everything is. And we can actually go in here and add all the information that we need. Okay, so now that we have added a description, that is looking good. The next step now is to upload a featured image. So we're going to come over here, make sure that you have document open, click on featured image, and then click on set featured image. So this is where you'd want to add your image for your project. So I'm just going to look for an image here that works. And to be honest, I don't even have any good ones here. So what I'll have to do is to upload one from my computer. So I'm going to click on upload files, select files. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to use this image right here. So I'm going to double click on it, set featured image. So now we have a featured image for our project. Now the next step now is to fill out all the custom fields. So here we can start with so here we're going to start with the problem. So I'm just going to add a bunch of lorem ipsum text because I don't have an actual problem that I need to set for this project. So I'm just going to paste my text in here. And then for the solution, again, I'm just going to use a bunch of this dummy text. So I'm going to paste it in here. moving forward, testimonial. I'm just going to add a bit of text as well. Contact person, I'm just going to say Mac. And then contact person image. I'm just going to come over here and choose an image. Let's go with, let's have a look. All right, let's go with this one here. But of course, this can't be Mac. So let's call this lady Alice. Okay. Then moving on, contact person job title. We can say web designer. And then moving forward, we need the client logo. So we're going to come over here and choose a logo to go with this. So the logo I'm going to go with is one of these logos that we have here in our library. So I'm going to add my logo, and then the client website. You know what? Why don't we just use Elegant Themes? So we're going to paste Elegant Themes in here, and then project duration. Notice that when I drag the slider, it can actually add all my weeks. So let's go with, let's say 5 weeks. So far that is looking great. So we have everything that we need for this project. So what we're going to do now is to publish it, publish one more time. So quickly, before we actually go ahead and create the template, I just want to take a quick look and see if all these fields will be showing once I hit publish. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to come over here and view this project in a new tab. And what you're going to notice is all we're going to have is, just the basic stuff. All the fields that we created over here are not actually showing. So the contact image, the testimonial solution, and also all this stuff is not showing. So the reason why we're going to create the template is we want all these fields to show. And this is what we're going to be doing next. All right, so I'm going to come back over here to WordPress, and then we're going to come all the way down here to Divi and then click on Theme Builder. This is where we're going to build a template. So to build a template, you want to click here on Add New Template. And the template we're going to build is going to be the projects. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here and look for projects. And here we go. So this is for all projects. I'm going to go ahead and select that, create template. And now we can see we have a template here for all projects. In fact, let me get rid of this one here because we don't have it anymore. All right. So we are going to go in now and start designing it from scratch. And we're going to also make sure that all the fields are added in, and they're going to be all dynamic fields. And you're going to see in a moment how that works. All right, so let's start by coming over here to add custom body, build custom body. So what we're going to do now is to build everything from scratch. So I'm going to click here on build from scratch. I'm just going to close this for now and then go into my section settings, because here we need to add a background color, and the color is going to be black. So that's going to be our starting point. Next, we're going to add a bit of padding both to the top and the bottom. So I'm going to come over here to design, spacing, and add my padding. And notice I've activated this chain because I wanted the value to be applied both to the top and the bottom. The next step now is to add a border. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click here on border, break the chain, and we're going to add these two values. So we're going to add 8 VW here to this side and 8 VW to the other side. And now you can see we have that shape. So pretty much that's all I need to do here on the sections. I'm going to save this. And then the next step now is to add my columns. And I'm going to go with a single column here. So in that, we're going to add our text. So the text we're going to add in here is just text which says project duration. So I'm going to go in here and search for my text module and select it. And I'm just going to override this. In fact, I'm going to delete this and add my text which says project duration. Now it's time to stylize the text. So I'm going to come over here to design text, and I'm going to change this to Monsterrat. I'm going to go to my text color and add my color in here. And also I'm going to add my text size. So this is going to be 1.2 REM. And then save. All right, so the next step is to add another text module to this column. So to do that, I'm just going to click in here and click on this plus button. And this again is going to be a text module. I'm going to select it. Right, so with that selected now, we're going to do something a bit different. So over here in the body, I'm going to click on this little icon here, and this is the dynamic content. So here we're going to choose project duration. So I'm going to go all the way down here to the bottom because this is where we have advanced custom fields. So we need project duration. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And here on the after, I am going to add weeks. There we go. So I'm going to save this, and then we're going to come over here to design, text, and we're going to change this text to Laura. So I'm going to search for it and select it. All right, so now that we have our text, we're going to set our text color to white, and then we're going to set our size to 1.5 rem. So now let's save and add another text module. So I'm going to come over here, click on this plus button, and search for my text module and select it. All right, so our dynamic content this time is going to be our post or archive title. So I'm going to click here on use dynamic content and then choose post and archive title. Right, so with that, add h1 as my tag, and then I'm also going to add the closing tag, but make sure you add the / for the closing tag. All right, so now that we have this, I'm going to save that, and it's time now to stylize this text. So let's head over here now to design, heading text, and remember this is heading 1, so we're going to choose our font here. It's going to be Montserrat, and it's also going to be white, and for our size it's going to be 6 rem. Next we're going to add our top and bottom margin, so I'm going to come over here to spacing, and this is going to be 100 pixels. So we're going to apply it both to the top and the bottom. So with that, I am going to save. Now this is not in the right position, so I just need to drag this below the project duration like that. All right, so moving on, we're also going to add another module, and this time it's going to be the post content module. So I'm going to go in here, click on this plus button. So this is my post content. I'm going to select it. So let's go in and stylize this right away. So I'm going to go here on this gear icon, and we're going to go straight over here to design, text, and our font here is going to be Laura. And then we're also going to make this text white. And then for the size, we're going to set this to 1.5 rem. And then for the line height, we're going to set this to 2 em, and then save. The next step is adding another row. So to add another row, I'm going to click on this plus button, and with this time we're going to go with 2 columns. So in the first column, we're going to add an image. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. But this image here is going to be a dynamic one. So I'm going to delete this, click on this little plus button, and then we're going to go all the way down here. And what we need here is the client logo. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and save. Next, I'm going to come over here to the second column. And this is where we're going to add a text module. So I'm going to come over here, search for my text module and select it. And we're just going to add a bunch of text in here. Okay, so that's what we're going to say. See website live in action. So what we're going to do next here is to come over here to the link. But in this link, we're going to link the module to the URL. And the URL is going to be the client website. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. Now let's go ahead and stylize this text by coming over here to design, text, and we're going to change this to Montserrat. We're going to set the color to white, and the size is going to be 1.5 rem, and our text line height is going to be 1. Next, we're going to come over here to our spacing and add a bottom padding of 50 pixels. So we'll go ahead and enter it here. Next, we're going to add a border. So I'm going to come over here, and the border we're going to choose is going to be on the bottom, and the size is going to be 1 pixel. So make sure you set this to 1, otherwise the border won't show. And then we're going to add a border color, and I'm going to paste it like that. Now, if you want to use the exact same colors as I'm using throughout this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the show notes below. So now that we have this all set, I'm going to save this. And then the next part is to add a new section. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, and I'm going to select regular section. I'm going to close this for now because I need to go in and make a few changes to my section. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, and then we're going to come over here to design, spacing. We're going to start with our top and bottom padding, and we're going to set this to 0. And make sure you activate this chain because that adds the value both to the top and the bottom. Right, so now that we have this, I'm going to save, and then it's time now to add my rows. So I'm going to click on this plus button, and the column structure we're going to go with is single column. So I'm going to set it like that. And before we add any modules, we're going to go into our row settings because, again, we need to come over here to design, spacing, and set my padding to 0, both to the top and the bottom, and then save. Now it's time to add our modules, and the module we're going to add is our image module. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. So I'm going to delete this, click on this plus button, and this time we're going to add our featured image as the dynamic image. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Next, we're going to come over here to design, and we're going to go to our border. So we're going to break this chain and add 8VW to the bottom left and right, like what we did before with our main shape. So with that set now, we're going to add another section. So let's save this first and add another section. So I'm going to click on this plus button, and this is going to be a regular section. I'm going to close this for now because we need to come over here and set our top and bottom padding. So I'm going to click here on design, spacing, and for our top padding, it's going to be 250. And as I mentioned, it needs to be both the top and the bottom. So once you have that, you're going to hit save, and then you want to add your column structure. So for our column structure here, we're going to go with 1/3, 2/3, and let's add our text module to column 1. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. So let's add this text called the problem, and let's set this to heading 2. Next, we're going to stylize this text by coming over here to design, heading text, making sure you select heading 2. We're going to change the font to Montserrat, and then we're going to set the font weight to bold and the size to 2 rem. There we go. All right, so far we have our title. So the next step now is to add the text module to column 2. So I'm going to save this, click on this plus button, search for my text module. So what we're going to do here is to add some dynamic text. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, and then we're going to come all the way down here and add our problem. So I'm going to select it and save. Now let's go to our text settings. So I'm going to come over here to design, text, and we're going to set this to Laura. And then over here, we're going to set this to 1.5 rem, and the height is going to be 2 em. So pretty much we have everything that we need here. So the next step now is to clone this row quite a few times. And then we just need to match all the text with all the fields that we created earlier on. So I'm going to come over here and just clone this a few times. So this one here is going to be our solution. I'm going to save that. And then over here, you want to go in and change this as well. So you want to come over here to our dynamic content, remove this one here, and then add our new one, which is our solution. So we're going to look for solution and select it, save that, and then save it one more time. So you want to go ahead and add all your fields and match them with the dynamic content. Right, so the next step now is to add our button. So we're going to come over here, click on this plus button, and let's look for our button module. And here it is. So in here, we're just going to say, let's work together. Now we need to stylize this button because of course it looks way too basic. So I'm going to come over here to design, button, use custom styles for button. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set our button size, and this is going to be 1.5 rem, and our button text color is going to be black, and our border radius is going to be 0. So I'm going to come over here, set this to 0. Now let's go to our button font. So we're going to come over here, change this to Montserrat. And then what we're going to do next is to head over to the margins. So we're going to come over here to spacing. And for the top margin, we're going to set this to 100, just so that we have enough space there on the top between our content and our button. So pretty much that's all we need to do here. I'm going to save this. And then next we're going to add another section. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, and this is going to be regular. So first of all, I need to add a background color to this. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, click on background, and we're going to add black to our background color. The next step is to come over here to design. We're going to go to our border, and you know that 8VW in the corners that we did on the bottom left and right. This time we're going to add it to the top left and right. So I'm going to break the chain, add my value here, 8VW, like that, and then save. All right, so the next step now is to add a column to this section. So I'm going to click on this plus button, and we're going to add a single column. So in here, we're going to add a testimonial module. So I'm going to search for it and select it. All right, so now that we have this here, we are now going to add our dynamic fields. So here we're going to start with the author. So we're going to click here on this plus, and then we're going to go and look for our contact person, and we're going to select that, save, The next thing is the job title. So we're going to come over here, scroll all the way down here to our ACF, and we're going to look for our contact person job title, which is right here. I'm going to save that. Next, we're going to go into the body text, and this is where we're going to add the testimonial. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, save that, and then we're also going to look for the image, and here it is. Delete what we have here, click on this plus button, scroll all the way down here, and then select contact person image. So I'm going to select that, and notice that all these are dynamic fields. Now we're going to come over here to elements, and we don't need to show this quote. So I'm going to say no to that. And then for the background color, I'm going to set this to black just so that it matches what we have here in the background. And now I'm going to go to design, text, and we're just going to change this from dark to light. So now it's easier to read. And then the next step is just to come over here to my body font and change this to Monsterrat so that it matches the design that we have. And then we also need to set our size here, just to make it slightly bigger. So we're going to set this to 2 rem. Next, we're going to come over here to our author text. So here we're going to change this to Laura. And we're also going to change the size to 1.4 because currently it's way too big. Now let's work on the position. So I'm going to come over here on the position text. And again, we're going to set this to Laura. And then this time we're going to change the color. I'm going to paste my color in here. And by the way, like I said, if you want to use the exact same colors as I'm using throughout this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the show notes below. Now we're going to add the size, and this is going to be 1.4 rem. So pretty much I think I have everything that I need here. So I'm going to save here, and we're also going to save this whole project. Okay, so we're going to come over here to expand settings, click on save, and make sure you save, because if you don't save, basically you're going to lose all this work that we've done. Okay, so that looks like it's saved. I'm going to close out of here, and I'm also going to save one more time. Okay, so remember when I added all my advanced custom fields, this is what it looked like. So now we're going to refresh this now that our template is saved and see what happens. So I'm going to refresh this and look at that. So this is automatically filled in because of the information we added earlier on. So as I scroll through this, you can see here, this is the client's logo. See the website in action. If I click here, this is going to take us to Elegant Themes because this is what we set it to. So I'm going to go back and let's go through. Now here's our main image. And as we go through here, we can see this is the problem, the solution. We also have let's work together, and we have our beautiful testimonial. And all this text is all dynamically produced. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow us on our social media platforms. By doing so, you'll be notified when we release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.